So thanks for joining us on this professional development session on a busy Thursday end of week afternoon. So I hope everybody has some coffee, came in ready to absorb some information about what this project is and all the opportunities that you may have. I know a lot of you Smile teachers know me, have seen me before. I've worked with Smile and Precollege now for over a year, and I'm the project director for this DIVE4Agriculture project that you're going to be learning what this is all about. So maybe I'll do a quick run of intro. I don't know how many people here, 14. A quick round of introductions with the team that's part of this project that's here to share some information with you today, and maybe a quick name shout out where you are so that we put some information on your faces. So Maureen.
Hi, I'm Maureen Hosty, and I am a 4-H extension faculty with Oregon State University, and I am based in the Portland metro area.
Somebody else in the team, Dominique?
Sure, I'll go. Dominique Brooks. I am with Precollege programs, and I'm a project coordinator with DIVE4Ag, and currently I'm on campus, so nice and quiet.
Great. Kristen?
There you go. I think you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. My name is Kristen. I work with 4-H, and I am also a project coordinator for this project.
And I'm Barbara Brody, Malheur County 4-H, SNAP Ed, and Family Community Health, and have worked with Smile teachers and attended conferences with you for the last 6 or 7 years with Mr. Dickey and the NISA Ontario and Four Rivers team. Happy to see you guys.
Hey, Susan, I think I got my phone off mute. I'm Todd Gulliver. I'm the 4-H program coordinator in Lincoln County and part of the team as well.
Great. And we also have Eth with us. I'll let you do a quick introduction.
Hi, everybody. My name is Yiğit. Great pronunciation, Susan. I'm with Timelooper, and today I'll be showing you different experiences.
Great. Because I cannot see everyone on the screen, I know we have a group of Smile teachers here. If you can just quick shout out your name if you can and are able to. And also, I don't know if you guys can see it better than me, but if there are any other educators that are not part of Smile in here.
My name is, I go by Miss Corey. I'm from Siletz Valley Schools Early Academy, and it's my first year working with Smile, so just trying to get all the information I can.
Great, thanks for coming.
My name is Liesel Schnibbe, and I don't know anything about the Smile program, but what caught my eye was the VR platform. I do mostly outdoor school stuff, and so I'm really interested in other ways to do that, or ways to put programs together or curriculum together that teachers can do with their own kids. And so that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm going to second you. That's why I came today. I'm an educator with Marion Soil and Water Conservation District. And so we serve high school, middle school teachers and students. And so it's been really challenging to pivot on with programming. And I'm looking forward to learning from what you all are doing. So thanks.
Great.
And this is Janelle Wild. I'm from Yoncalla High School, and I am here for basically the same reasons. The VR caught my attention.
Great. We see Sally introduce herself from Three Rivers School District Elementary, and there we go. Hi, Sally. Get somebody else that got an introduction as a 6th grade classroom teacher in Baker County. Mrs. Laptop. Okay, Cassie. All right. Just a few seconds if anyone want to say anything, then we'll move on. while I'm sharing my screen over here. So again, thanks, welcome, thanks for joining us.
Sorry, Susan, we have a couple quick more introductions in the chat. We have Sally Clements from Three Rivers School District Elementary. Oh, did we already do that one? Sorry, there was one more. Did we get Brittany Capel from Oregon Ag in the classroom?
Oh, great, yep.
Great.
Thanks, Maureen. Great, can you all see my screen? Yeah. All right, so we prepared just as information. This is part one. What did I do? I'm getting an admit button.
I'll take care of it. I got it.
There you go, let me do this again. Where did my presentation go? Disappear. Where did it go? Let me find it. So thanks again for being here. Enjoy being interested in learning more. I hope you find this useful for you. This is part one or two. We'll probably do some more of those info sessions that we're getting a lot of interest from educators in understanding what it is that we're going to be doing in the next couple of years. So we're here to talk about DIVE4Agriculture. The DIVE for us stands for Distance Immersive Virtual Education. And the DIVE4Agriculture that we are launching with the STEAM There's here today, it's funded by the USDA NIFA program, recently funded as part of the responses to COVID funding sources. So it's a partnership between Precollege programs, OSU Precollege programs, and OSU 4-H Extension, Oregon Agriculture in the Classroom, Timelooper, Oregon Sea Grant, and many other partners and site locations where these field trips are going to be developed. So we're excited to be launching a project that's focused on middle and high school youth in the Pacific Northwest. It's a regional scope, including Oregon and Washington. We are excited to develop some immersive experiences for the youth and some opportunities that will be exciting and engaging with youth participation. Okay, I want to advance this. There you go. It doesn't let me do it. Okay, do it this way. Okay. So DIVE4Ag is in this partnership. It's going to be working on a toolkit covering themes of agriculture and with a variety of activities online. They'll be free and accessible and open to any educator, any youth in the Pacific Northwest to participate. We're going to talk a little bit more later about what all the pieces and activities we're going to be implementing are. But before we get there, I thought would be good for ETH to join us and kind of do some demonstrations, because what we've been finding is that sometimes when we say these are virtual field trips, people don't really understand what we mean by the kind of field trips that we're talking about. So the easiest way to kind of grasp our heads around the kind of experience that we'll be producing is to have some demonstrations. So if anyone in my team doesn't have anything to say right now, I will invite it to share his screen and share with us what is the work of Timelooper. Timelooper is the company that is part of our team as a grant who is going to be developing these experiences with us. And it is going to share a little bit about the technology, what's available for teachers right now, even before we developed that. What kind of tools and technologies and what other teachers that have been using the experiences they create have been saying about these field trips and the usefulness of it. So I'll stop share and welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Susan. As Timelooper, we have been working with cultural institutions from all around the world for the last 6-7 years. And then the idea has always been, okay, when I'm visiting Pompeii, what would it be like as I'm walking through the ruins? What would it be like being there on that day? Wouldn't it be great if I would like look around me on a daily life, and then some people are trading, kids are running around, and then the architectures before the explosion. Or sometimes it is like what would be like on the deck of USS Arizona, right before the attack or during the attack. So this is the experience, but everything that we have been creating for these on-site experiences were with educational content in mind. It's less about entertainment, it's more about the education, but the delivery is entertaining by itself. Let's say Angkor Wat in Cambodia. The temple is that's the largest temple in the world still. It was built more than 800 years ago, and it wasn't built by the slaves, but built by the people for their king. And when you visit Angkor Wat, you see the ruins, and then if you have a tour guide, and the tour guide talks about like who were building it, what was the temple look like, what were the tools were used, and then what other traditions happening on that day. And then you have a lot of information, but seeing them in the context all together is difficult. Then it leaves you, it's up to you to imagine all that in interacting with each other. So we have been designing these virtual reality and augmented reality experiences for these sites. Then COVID hit, and then with COVID, then all these institutions said, okay, no one is coming to me. Now I have to go to these, my students, my visitors. At that time, then that added a new challenge to us, because one thing is you're already at Angkor Wat or in Pompeii, and then you already have that information, and then you have the context, you're very immersed into the site already, versus you're at home, and then just like it's your kitchen or it's your classroom. Then we said, okay, how can we bring the context? And then also how can we collaborate with the education team of the institutions? And then how can we do this in a very quick way to help all these institutions so that they can all launch at the same time? And now I'm going to show you a few examples, but before showing and demonstrating as examples, I would like to show a video that will help you to understand how the product works. With that, I am going to share my screen. All right. So we built the virtual field trip website so that teachers can come and then find different field trips that is coming from different institutions. But here I would like to show you this short video first. All right. Now I'm going to share my iPhone screen and demonstrate a few examples. We will be, for this project, we will be using different techniques and then even newer techniques that we have never used before. So I'll try to show you examples, that techniques that will be for sure used in this project. So now, first, share my iPhone screen. All right. First, let's go to Grand Canyon and then what would be like going to Grand Canyon in your living room or inside the classroom. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to let every video starts with an introduction. I'm going to, for this first one, I'm going to let you watch the entire thing.
The immense and colorful Grand Canyon National Park is valued worldwide as one of the Earth's most powerful and inspiring scenic landscapes, offering people enriching opportunities to explore and experience its wild beauty in both vast and intimate spaces. With more than 6 million visitors each year, Grand Canyon is one of the most visited national parks in the United States. Rangers, scientists, residents, American Indian tribes, volunteers, and visitors work together to protect and preserve this special place. We hope this app brings you some of the special features of Grand Canyon National Park and encourages you to visit the canyon virtually. Now let me tell you how to use the experience. First, find a flat area nearby. It might be your table, floor, or even your backyard. Walk slowly through or around the area as you scan it. Then place the 3D map of Grand Canyon on the scanned area by tapping the dots that appear on your screen. You can scale and move the 3D map to as large or as small as you want by pinching and dragging. Points of interest will then appear on the map. Activate content by walking or moving towards a point of interest and bumping your device into its pinhead. In accessibility mode, you can also activate points of interest by tapping pinheads on the screen with your finger. Once you activate a point of interest, be sure to look up, down, and around while exploring the environment. We hope you enjoy your journey through Grand Canyon National Park's South Rim.
All right, so as was described in the video, I'm scanning my table and then tapping, and then here's the map. So from the camera, you see that there's a map in front of me, but actually this is an augmented reality model of Grand Canyon. And instead of touching to the screen, I am moving around and exploring Grand Canyon. And when I move my phone towards the pin and then touch it, then it activates, and then now I'm in a smaller section. Let's make it smaller. So now, as you can see, Grand Canyon South Rim is on my kitchen table. And all these pins are digital content about that location. So let's say, let's go to view of Mather Point. This is a 360-degree content. So if I was standing right here, what would I see? And what would I learn by visiting this location?
Hi, my name is Ranger Lindsay, and I'm here at Mather Point at Grand Canyon National Park. Mather Point is named for Stephen Mather, the first director of the National Park Service, and it's one of the most popular places for visitors here at Grand Canyon. For many, this is the first view that they get of this amazing geological...
All right, just close that. So now that's Grand Canyon. What about the Redwood Forest, Redwood trees? So they are endangered, they are protected, and there is one particular tree that scientists climbed and then did research, and then they recorded their exploration as they climbed. So now, what if we could bring that redwood tree in the class, inside the classrooms or inside students' homes? Let's skip that part. Now I am going to scan my floor and tap. Now, as you can see, the redwood tree is in my kitchen. And I can make it small, I can make it big, and so now, and then I can walk around it because it's a 3D model. So then the next thing is scientists climbed up the tree, and then they made different discoveries at different heights. So when I tap to 60 meters up, I'll be 60 meters up inside this tree, exactly in that location of this tree.
We're at about 60 meters up this redwood now, and you can just see all of these reiterated trunks coming off of these limbs. And look at the bottom surface of this limb. This limb is probably 1.5 meters diameter. But look at it. It's probably close to 1,000 years old.
All right. So another example is that 3D model could be anything, could be also objects, which we will do, I would assume, for this project. So let's go to Pearl Harbor and see USS Arizona before the attack.
First, find a flat area nearby. It might be your floor.
Right. So this is USS Arizona Memorial. And as you can see, USS Arizona is sitting under the water. We can dive in, or we can see it before the attack. Let's check out that one. So now, as you can see, USS Arizona is on my desk again. And I can make it really big, the original size, and then walk on the deck. And also walk around it and see every detail, and then get information. For example, let's see guns. So here are the guns, and there's information about the guns.
The USS Arizona's primary armament were 12 .45 caliber 14-inch guns arranged in 4 triple gun turrets. Each gun barrel weighed close to 70 tons and was approximately 52.5 feet long. They were capable of
And these storytelling, these objects don't have to be static. We can animate them. Let's look at 16th Street Baptist Church experience.
First,
so now this experience is broken into chapters. First chapter,
in 1871, Birmingham, Alabama was chartered. After the Civil War, the South had a lot of questions to answer about its changing social landscape and way of life. And one of those answers began to arise in the emergence of industry in a region that had been primarily agrarian. Uniquely, deposits of limestone, coal, and iron ore were not only rich. The church worshipped in the storefront structures before purchasing land at its present site of 6th Avenue and 16th Street North. Under the leadership of Reverend Dr. William Pettiford, the first modern brick building was completed in
And the last experience that I'm going to show you is from Underground Railroad, and that's using hologram technique. So now Liz Amby is going to appear in my kitchen.
First, find a flat.
There she is.
I have to keep my wits about me and behave normally. I can't let on what I'm about to do. It's going to be very risky escaping with so many people, including babies. My net is ready. He's got a good pistol and a big knife. You see?
All right. So how these experiences being used today? So there are multiple ways. First of all, this experience can be accessed from mobile devices, whether iPhone or Android. And inside, there's a use case for inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. And then there's a way to use it with a live site expert, or by yourself as a teacher. And then let me talk you a little bit about those. So one option is, this is very common, when the teacher contacts institution, let's say Pearl Harbor. So the teacher reaches out to Pearl Harbor, they say like, I want to use this experience as in my classroom. So then Pearl Harbor gives link to the app and then also additional resources. and then it asks teacher to tell his or her students to, if they can, use this app at home before coming to school. So then the students are actually getting prepared, learning about it. And then during the Zoom conference, like as I did for you, an expert, a historian, is giving a tour by screen sharing the app and showing other examples, and then having a lively conversation with the students. The other model is the teacher can download the app and connect his or her iPhone to the projector. And then while it's connected, then the teacher can guide the conference, let's say that the hologram or a 3D object, and then talk about it, or give the control to a student, and then the student is actually moving while the whole classroom is seeing. And let's go to the gun, let's talk about the gun, or ask questions, why this part of the town grew earlier than the other parts, and then what kind of tools they were using for gold mining. And then the third one for classroom use case is station-based. So teachers are bringing a few iPhones or iPads or Android devices, and then students are moving from one station to another. First station, they're reading about something, then they go to the next station, they're using the AR, VR, just like similar to what you have seen in the first video that I showed you. And then the third station, they write about that topic. Yeah, so that's all from me. And then we're very excited to create 5 different experiences for 5 different topics. Do you have any questions?
Well, how many questions? Right. So we wanted you to come and join us to show a little bit about what the app does, because as part of this project, we were going to be developing 5 different apps with agricultural content, and they will be designed to approach different types of agriculture, from dairy farms to horse farms to aquaculture, with an approach from farm to table. So we're going to be utilizing and working with it in Timelooper in the next 6 months, producing this virtual reality field trips that can be downloaded and used by anyone. We also purchasing virtual reality kits with headsets, and we'll learn more later about how can that be accessed, but through our partners network and some mechanisms, those are going to be available for some more immersive experiences as well. When Eat was showing that in his living room and he's walking, it's very different. I've done that in my backyard too. Like when I'm walking towards the tree, feels very different than seeing Eat walking towards the tree. So it's much more real. And when you have the virtual reality headsets as well, then you're not seeing anything around you. So it's even more immersive. So we're trying to figure out ways that we can get some kits rotating in Oregon and Washington with some of the experience, so that they can experience in that way, and through Smile clubs as well, and 4-H clubs. So I do have a question. Can you share a little bit about early use of some of those field trips that you have already produced, and how teachers have been providing some feedback, or how useful that is, or some of the challenges?
Yeah. They see a couple of different benefits of using virtual field trips in this way. The first reaction was, I can categorize them in 2. The first one was, due to COVID, I am teaching remotely, or it's blended learning. And this is not an environment that I'm familiar with, and I don't have time to create new content. So it will be great to use content from cultural institutions. Just please give me more resources. I need to give them for my students, but I don't have time in this new environment because so many things going on for me. The second one is that, like everybody's saying this, I am in front of Zoom, students are seeing me, I'm seeing them, but just like they're tired of seeing me all the time. I want to show a different face. And also, I'm not an expert in all the topics. It will be great to learn something from expert rather than me. So I see them all the time. Just this is a great opportunity. And of course, number 3 is now they are spending a lot of time in front of computer. There's so many digital content out there, which is great, but the content needs to be engaging and interesting. I'm running Fieldtrips, but at the end of the day, it goes going to a website, watching video clips, reading more. And then I'm already giving all of my assignments for their homework, and then they have to complete on through Google Classroom, other mediums. So they need something engaging and interesting that is not preferably a video game. So this becomes a great engaging tool for the teachers. And then lastly, they also realize that, oh, like I used to go to my regional park. That's the furthest I can go. But suddenly it opens new doors for me. I can take my students to Pearl Harbor, or I can take my students to Redwood Forest while I'm still in my classroom in Harlem. So now, within even for these projects, there are 5 different topics in 5 different locations. But I guess it is very challenging and difficult and maybe even impossible to take students to those locations. Now these locations can come to you in an immersive way. So those are the 4 different benefits that teachers are seeing. And we have done many pre and post feedback sessions, and then we get great feedback, and then they send thank you letters to not to us, but to the institutions who are giving these tours.
Great. Thanks. Is there any question right now that it can answer, can we address before we continue?
I have a quick question. Just because I'm looking at what's in the chat. What's the minimum operating system in order to be able to run Timelooper?
Mm-hmm. On the iOS side, on the Apple side, you need to have Apple iPhone 7 or above. But it's kind of a little bit could be glitchy if your iPhone 7 is very old and memory is full, but iPhone 8 and above for sure. On the Android side, it's more challenging because there's so many devices produced by so many manufacturers. Primarily, in order this experience to work, there's a hardware component that tracks your movement and then knows your location and height. That's gyroscope. Some cheaper models don't have gyroscope, so even Vitro Reality VR, just moving it around, does not work. But for major brands and then their standard models support this. But it is a more complicated answer in that case. And then also in the US, Apple's market share is around 60-70%, and iPhone 8, 7 and above's market penetration is around 90%. And also it works on iPads.
Mm-hmm. So when you say there can be a problem with some of the older Androids because of the tracking movement, is that the app won't work at all, or just you lose that movement, that perception that you're really close to that tree or not?
App does not work. So what we do is we don't, when you search for that app, it doesn't show up for your device on the Android store. Or if you're an iPhone 5, you cannot find it. So we hide it. Also, this is also Google policy and an Apple policy. If your device is not supported, then you don't see those apps, including ours. So when we are submitting to these stores, we tell which devices are supported, and then they filter accordingly. And they don't even approve an app if it's not working for those devices. They also do their own tests before approving your app.
Hmm.
Can you talk about, because we are getting the VR headsets that we'll be loaning out, like how will the experience be different? For example, when you zoom it up in your kitchen, would you still see your whole kitchen, or like how would it look different?
So in those instances, we will take all these assets, 3D models and animations, and then put them in a virtual environment. that virtual environment, let's say that it's the farm project and it's about cows, the environment can be, we can go and take a 360 picture of the farm and or the barn, and then you can see the cow not in your table, but inside in your kitchen, but inside a barn. So it's going to be full 360 degree. You are not going to see your room. The second that you put your headset, now you're in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
Since headset penetration is very low, we optimize it for augmented reality so that you can still get the content, but doesn't mean that doesn't work in virtual reality. So it works for both, but if you have a headset, still you can walk around and would be much more immersive. On the iPhone version, we can do the same, by the way. Even for iPhones, I can walk around and not from my screen, not see my kitchen. But then since it's not on your face, but you are moving the phone, your screen is tiny. In that case, you don't really understand what's happening. Am I watching a video or what am I doing? When we make the disappear, that environment disappear, and then that object appear in your classroom, is much more immersive.
Interesting. Thank you. So everyone jump in at any time. I'm gonna go back, I'm looking at the time here. I'm gonna share this, continue to share this screen quick. There we go. So those 5 experiences that we'll be creating will be designed, and as it say, the sky is the limit. So we rely on some of our educators and the youth that we'll be working with to help us create experiences that are meaningful and relevant to them and has youth participation. So when we think about the Dive4Ag toolkit that we're creating, the Vitro Experience here on the little red are the 5 Vitro Experiences are just one piece of it, even though a really large piece in the center of everything. They will be created and all the participants will be able to go to these Vitro Experiences and experience the content, agriculture, we'll have experts that'll be helping us define what is the message, the story that they want to tell about the dairy farm, or how cheese gets to your table, or aquaculture and oyster. And I think for us, and Todd can talk a little bit about that too, and it is very exciting for us to come up with creative ways, especially in the aquaculture field trip, to look at things that we would not be able to look otherwise, right? If you go to fisheries hatchery or oyster farm, you really can't see most of the excitement. It's happening underwater. So with it help, what we can do is create these 3D models and get to see things that are really small, or the things that are happening underwater as if we're there. So that's very exciting. So these toolkits are being created in the next, this first year of the grant. Our grant is 2 years to be released as soon as they get completed. But beyond that, there are multiple points where youth and educators can interact with other activities and be continue to learn about agriculture and those topics. So I'll go around and kind of call my team here to talk about the pieces that you were most involved with. So Maureen, can you tell us a little bit about the teens as teachers and how that comes to play in the project?
Yes, we have, the great thing about this whole project is a lot of the content will be incorporating teens to help us deliver the content and create the content. So like, kind of like you saw the different like park docents who were giving interpretive information about the different aspects of their field experience. We'll be using teens in that role. So our teens will be the ones guiding us through these farms. So we will be getting more information out soon, working with Kristen and Dominique to have an application process for that, because we'll be trying to recruit 30 teens from around the state to help us with that project. And there is a small stipend involved with that as well. The other area that we'll be working with teens is we have a sort of a hybrid online teen teachers program who to train teachers, train teens to teach agriculture science lessons to younger youth. So we're kind of pilot testing that right now with about 30 youth we have from around the Portland area and then Malheur County and Baker County. But those teens will be involved in helping deliver agriculture lessons to younger youth, whether it's after school programs or with other community partners. So more information for that will be coming up soon because we'll probably do our second cohort of teen trainers in February, starting February.
Great. Kristen and Dominique are a team of coordinators, the core of our team here. And they've been working hard to release some, while we prepare this other elements that we have to create, they've been working hard to release some asynchronous activities in December and January for the grant. So I'll give them, Kristen the floor to talk about what's coming up January, December, and particularly Egg Science Cafes.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. So like I said earlier, my name's Kristen, and I'm really excited that the Teen Science Cafe program is going to be incorporated into the DIVE4Ag, because what Teen Science Cafes does is really connect kids to real life professionals and really just learn about their career journeys. I know a lot of the kids that I work with, they think when they're younger, like, oh, I want to grow up and be an engineer. And they think of the end point, especially when they're applying for colleges and thinking about these life decisions when they're getting in high school and older about how to get to that end point. And I don't know about you, but my career journey has never been just the end point. It's actually really been a very serendipitous, twisty-turny process. And honestly, I wouldn't change it any other way because I have learned a lot of really cool things and a lot of really interesting people. And so I think that's one thing that needs to be emphasized to kids is maybe you'll get to that endpoint engineer job and you'll have that dream job, but if you take a little side turn and you have this other job or this other really cool internship or experience, that's all okay. And you could be learning great life skills that could help prepare you for the next step. So it's really, I find the most powerful thing with the Teen Science Cafes is just hearing from people, their experiences, how they grew up, what were the things that really sparked them, what kind of decisions did they make to get to where they are today, and do they still have dreams and goals? Because also for adults, you know, things change, and it's, you know, you could also have cool new dreams when you're in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s and onward. So I'm really excited. We're going to be having these monthly. So coming up, our website is almost up and live. We'll have an animal scientist from Elanco. We have an interview with them, and they'll be introducing about, you know, what do you do with research? And Elanco is actually a really cool pharmaceutical company based in the US. So that is one of the STEM professionals that we'll be highlighting in December.
I'll jump in real quick and talk about the Beaver Hangouts piece. So once we actually get up and rolling and we have our kiddos onboarded, we'll start Beaver Hangouts, which is college students talking to classrooms via whatever virtual platform, and just getting the students more information about whatever topic we're covering that month. So that way, once they get into the Ag Science Cafes, they'll have more informed questions and just an overall informed experience. And so we're hoping that that not only increases the knowledge, but increases the engagement with the overall opportunity.
Great. Fantastic. And well, in the end of this, my presentation, there's the email from Kristen and Dominique as our project coordinators that you can find and reached out to them. Barb, you're with us. Can you talk a little bit about your role in the project? Say hi again to this teacher.
Hi, all. I'm Todd Williver. I'm the one that's frantically trying to get up to speed on all of this and figure out what is possible and what is not, so that once we get these initial 5 in the can, so to speak, we'll be able to create our own content for new field trips down the road. I think Susan mentioned that part of this grant was to purchase equipment, everything from 3D 360-degree cameras, 3D scanners potentially. We have already a pretty good selection of 4K drones, so that we can go out and capture our own content and then roll that into additional field trips to really make this project scalable down the road and add to it beyond just the 5 sites. So where it's all new, I guess what I'm trying to do is pick Yidget's brain well enough that I can sort of be that liaison, and we'll be able to get out there and create really, really good stuff for some time to come.
Thanks, Todd. Todd will be the one traveling all over Oregon to record. Barb? Is she still with us?
I am, Susan. I'm working with the team on the social emotional learning and for the lessons and the content statewide for all of the lessons that are coming out.
Yeah. Barbara is also a big help into connecting us with the schools, and also we're trying to get some of these kits and cameras being available in lunch pickup locations that families and youth groups can come in when they can pick up lunch in some sort of borable library kind of system, turn it back that they can have some of those experiences across Oregon and Washington. So hopefully we'll be able to figure out some ways to make these accessible to folks all around. So maybe it's time to open up, and please jump in, ask any questions, or put it on the chat if you'd like. So this variety of activities will be then put together as a toolkit that will be available beyond the life of this project for anyone to use. And we have some, and beyond that, we also have a lot of other partners, products that already exist they'll be featuring as part of this toolkit. On the second year, we also gonna launch, and I don't want to confuse the SMILE teachers, not the SMILE challenge, but an agriculture challenge, a virtual agriculture challenge in the second year, where those who sign up for it and have gone through those experiences will have a chance to do what we're calling some interactive virtual labs, where there'll be some data for them to play with in a virtual environment as if they were like a, let's say, organic farmer or a dairy farmer, and play with some variables to solve a problem and see where the consequences may be. What does this type of agriculture can cause the soil, environmental impacts? I mean, we'll define based on the story that the Fieldtrips are telling. They're going to solve a problem and play with data and making decisions as farmers. And that will be like the culmination of this 2-year grants, is the closing with this challenge events and seeing what the youth and the groups that sign up for them come up with. That's the second year. Once we get through the madness and the rapid production of all of those virtual field trips, the lessons that are extra lessons that will be developed to go with it for you to use, all the monthly science cafes and beaver hangouts opportunities, educator professional development. So there'll be a variety of things coming at you. Our website will be live real soon, hopefully by next week, so I can follow up with that. So we stay tuned. How you can get involved if you're excited to get involved. There's also, you can stay tuned to our calendar on our website and our site of activities. Enjoy the PD opportunities, enjoy the virtual activities as you can facilitate your youth to join. But if you are like super duper excited and want to sign up for it and commit, you can sign up and commit. The grant has some stipends to support youth educators. They will come and participate in the PD sessions. We'll be doing 2 a year. Will help us recruit youth and facilitate their participation in our online events, and lead a youth group into the challenge activities. as well as offer some feedback for evaluation, because we want to hear how is this being useful. This is all new to us. We are all embarking in some new territory. We're excited to do things that are impactful for the youth and for you. So we will learn from you. How can we make this more meaningful and more relevant to you and to the youth that you teach? Anyone want to jump in at this point and ask some questions or contribute from the team as far as how you see? So as I said, this project is funded by the USDA National Institute of Food and Agriculture. These are some core partners in there. They'll be part of developing activities, reaching recruiting, providing materials, all sorts of good stuff. Our website, you can take note, but it's DIVE4Ag at OregonState.edu. It's not live yet. It will be by next week. I have created, if you see the link there, I don't know if one of you can copy the link and put on the chat for me. This
Maureen
link
dropped it in the chat already.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Maureen.
That's
So
the wrong link.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, so we'll have to put it in the chat.
Okay, good. So that link is just a quick little survey to hear from you. Like, is this something that you would want to be involved with? Is this something that you want to come to part two? How do you see this being useful for you or for your youth? What kinds of things came to mind that we can think about, incorporate while we're still in development phase for these virtual experiences? So we'd appreciate if you take the time to even talk to us now about how you see this, how you kind of absorbing this information and some of your ideas that you had.
Yeah, and Susan, I just want to mention really quickly, we have the capability to follow up with everyone via email. That way, if it's, because it was a lot of information, so we can just shoot them links and more info following this, just to give folks time to process if there are no questions right now.
Right. How do we contact and sign up? There's a question there. Thank you for the, could you tell us about interactive virtual labs? Oh, but thanks. Thank you for the great information. How do you contact and sign up? So on our website, as Dominique said, we can follow up. I think you can sign up over there. We're going to put some recruitment materials, but Dominique and Kristen are to-go people to contact and follow up. But we can follow up with you with the website and the email that we're going to have and all of the information, how to sign up and where to find this information. Great. We're close to 4, so I wanted to thank you everybody for being here. Thank the team for being here. Thank Eth for being here. We're working hard to get all this information on the website and materials to you so that you can find it all in one place, and we'll make sure to reach out to that if we have information.
Susan, there's a question in the chat. Yeah, I think, well, Kristen answered it too. Just want to make sure this is open to, it's not just OSU staff, it's for everybody. Any educators, yes.
Any educators in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon. If you know them, please spread the word, let them know, invite them to come in. We'll probably most likely do some other info sessions beginning of January and move on with some more specific trainings with Timelooper into the technology itself, learning how to use the app or the VR sets and be more technical, be prepared to facilitate this with youth. Okay, if there is no further question, thanks again, everyone. And we'll hopefully see you soon, and stay tuned for the website.